Hey guys, welcome back to the third part of this restaurant management system project. In the second part, we did the functionality of this calculator and we also saw how this check button enables this entry field on getting ticked, and when you untick it, the entry field gets disabled. If you have not watched part 1, part 2, the link is given in the description. Now let's work on the functionality of these buttons. First of all, let's work on the functionality of this total button. So what I want, when the user will enter the quantity of these items and when he will click on this total button, the total cost of 3 roti plus total cost of 4 kebab and total cost of 2 mutton will be added together, and the total of 3 items will be displayed inside this cost of food entry field. Similarly, if you will select drink items, total cost of the items will be added and will be displayed inside this cost of drinks, and for this cakes as well. Then this subtotal will be simply the sum of these three, and the service tax will be any fixed amount, and the total cost will be addition of subtotal and the service tax. Firstly, we will get the quantity from these entry fields and will store those quantities in some variable, and on those variables we will do the calculation. So I am going to create a function here, def total cost, and this function will be called whenever you will click the total button. So let me add this as a command to that total button. To this total button, I'm going to provide a command equals to total cost without parenthesis. So whenever you will click on this button total, this function will be called, and whatever code you will write inside that will be executed. Firstly, I am going to get the quantity from the entry field. So with the help of text variables, we will get whatever is written inside that entry field. So firstly, for roti entry field, I'll use here e underscore roti variable dot get method, and this will return the quantity in the form of a string, and I will convert that to integer so that I can perform mathematical operations on that integer value, and I will store that in some variable item 1. In the same way, I will get the quantity from dal entry field. So I'll simply copy this line, and here I'll change the variable name, and here this e roti will be changed to e dal. Then we had fish, so this one will be item 3, and here it will be e fish. This way we have to get the quantity from all entry fields. So there are total 27 entry fields. So I'm going to complete this. These are food entry fields, then these are drinks entry field, and the last one cakes entry field. And I have stored all the quantities in these variables. So total there are 27 variables. After that, now we have to calculate price of food. So I'll use this price of food variable, and inside this variable I will calculate total price of food. So inside this item 1 variable, we will have quantity for roti. Suppose the customer wants 4 quantity. So I will multiply that 4 with the cost of 1 roti, and we will be getting 40, and that 40 cost will be stored inside this variable price of food. Similarly, if the user will select dal also, so dal's quantity is stored in this item 2 variable, and I will multiply that quantity with the cost of 1 dal quantity. If the user only selects roti 4 quantity and does not select dal any quantity, so in item 2 variable we will have 0, because by default there is 0. So 0 into 60 will be 0. So this is nothing, right, but 0. So only 40 rupees will be added inside this price of food variable. I hope you are able to understand this. And you can provide different cost whatever you want. Similarly, if the user selects fish, so the quantity will be inside this item 3, and I will multiply that with cost of 1 fish. After that, item 4 contains sabji quantity, so I will give 1 cost of sabji 50 rupees. So here plus item 4 into 50. In the same way we will do for rest of the food items. Then I have added item 5 and multiplied it with the cost of one quantity, and similarly item 6, item 7, then item 8 and item 9. Here you notice I have added this backward slash. The reason is if I will not add this backward slash, then this complete line will be treated as separate expression and this one will be treated as separate expression. So to make this complete thing as one, we have to add a backward slash here like this. Now this thing is a part of this line. Just like we calculated price of food, in the same way we will be calculating price of drinks. Drinks are starting from item 10. So first drink is lassi. You can provide 50 rupees as cost of one lassi. So let's use it, this variable item 10 into 50 plus item 11 into 40. Our item 11 is this coffee. Now the last one, price of cakes. So Oreo cake quantity is inside this item 19 variable, and one Oreo cake will cost 400 rupees. So I will multiply this item 19 with 400. So whatever quantity the customer will select, we will get the total cost inside this variable. Similarly, if the user selects another cake, which is this apple, so I'll multiply this item 20 with 300 rupees. So single apple cake will cost 300 rupees. Similarly, you can provide cost to rest of the items. So we got this total price of food, price of drinks and price of cakes inside these three variables. Now we just have to set these three variables value onto our entry field. So you remember we created these entry field text variables. With the help of these variables, we will be adding the things inside the entry fields, right? So coming back here, what I will do, I will firstly use cost of food var dot set method. Since inside this variable we have the value in the form of an integer, I will have to convert that to str, price of food, and then at last I will also concatenate rs for rupees. Next will be cost of drink var dot set method, and here also I will first convert this price of drinks to str, and at last I will concatenate rs. And the last one, it will be cost of cakes var. Here the variable will be price of cakes. Let's check. If you select any item and write the quantity here and you click on this total button, you can see we are getting a total here. Total cost of food, total cost of drinks and the total cost of cakes. So these quantities are simply multiplied by cost of one quantity and they are added and simply displayed on these entry fields. I hope you understood this logic. Let me provide little space between RS and this price. Total. Here I have not selected any food items, so we are getting 0 rupees. So basically all these item variables is simply containing 0, and 0 multiplied by any number is always 0. So the 0 is getting stored inside this variable and that is getting displayed on this field. Now we need to add subtotal of items. So here I'll create a variable subtotal of items equals to, it will simply be the addition of all the cost, price of food plus price of drinks plus price of cakes, right? And then I will add this subtotal of items to our entry field. So here I'll write subtotal var dot set method, and here I will set this subtotal of items, and then I will also concatenate rs like this. Next we need to insert service tags, so I'll write service tags var dot set method. I will set 50 rupees like this. Then the total cost will be nothing but this subtotal of items plus this service tax. So I will add 50 rupees, and then I can add this total cost onto my entry field. So I'll write total cost var dot set method, and I'll set this total cost and rs string for rupees. Let's see. So if I select some quantities here like this, if I click on this total button, oops, nothing is getting displayed here. Let's see what is wrong. Oh, so we made a mistake here. You can see it's a type error, unsupported operand type, right? So here I have to convert this to a string before concatenating with rs, right? Because rs will be concatenated only with the string. And here also I have to convert this to str like this. Let's see now. Let me select one items from each category. So here you can see total cost of food is this, cost of drinks, cost of cakes. Then the subtotal is simply the addition of these three. Then the service tax is the fixed amount. Then the total cost, which is nothing but subtotal plus service tax. So we are done with the total button functionality, and now let's work on this receipt button. Let me show you in the original project how the receipt looks like. So let me select few items from here, one item from each section, and let me click this total button and then this receipt button. Here you see firstly we are getting this receipt reference text, then randomly generated bill number, then today's date. After that we are getting all the items that we selected. Since we have only selected 3 items, so we are only getting 3 items and their total cost on the right hand side. After that we are getting cost of food, cost of drinks and cost of cakes, then the subtotal, service tax and the total cost. So let's see how we can create this receipt. So I am going to provide a command here at the top, def receipt. Then I need to call this function from the receipt button. So whenever you will click that receipt button, this particular function will be executed. So here to this button receipt, I am going to provide command equals to receipt. Now let's write the code inside that function. For randomly generating a bill number, I have to import random module. So I'll write import random. This is inbuilt module. Inside this function, I'm going to use random.randint method. Here I'm going to provide a range of randomly generated bill number. So I'll generate random numbers from 100 to 10,000. And I will store the randomly generated bill number in some variable x. After that, I will create one variable inside which I will store this string bill plus this x variable. So I have converted this to a string, and then I will concatenate that with this bill string. And also we have to get today's date. So here I'll create a variable inside which I will store the date, and for date I have to import time module. So I'll write import time. Then here I'll use this module time.strf time. To this method we have to pass the format of the date in the form of a string. So first one is day, then forward slash, then it will be month, then forward slash, and then it will be year. Make sure you write Y capital here. So this method will return us the date, and that date will be stored inside this date variable. And now we can insert these two in our receipt text area. Here I'll use text receipt variable dot insert method. At the end I'm going to insert firstly a string receipt ref, then I will add this bill number, and then I will add this date like this. If I click on this receipt, you can see we are getting this receipt reference string, then this bill number, then this today's date. Okay, so let me provide some spaces between these three things. So I'm going to provide tab spaces. /t provides tab spaces like this. So this is two tab spaces. In the same way, we have to provide tab space between this bill number and today's date. So I'll write plus, and in the quotes /t like this. If I click on this receipt, you can see now we are getting a space. If you noticed in the original receipt, I have added a line of asterisk here. So let me add that. So I'm going to write text receipt dot insert method, and at the end I will simply insert this line of star. You can see the line is starting from this position. So what I will do, just after inserting the date, I will change to a new line. So I will write /n. This is a new line character. Now this star line will be added to a new line like this. One star is extra, so let me remove it. Yeah, like this. Here also at the end I will add new line character. After that we have to add two headings, items and cost of items. So again I'll write text receipt dot insert method. At the end I will insert items heading. Here also I will provide tab spaces, and next heading is cost of items. In bracket I will mention rupees. This is how it looks. Again we have to add one asterisk line. So I'm going to copy the same line from here, Control C, and I will paste here like this. You can see the star line is getting added just next to this heading cost of items. So what I will do here, at the end I will add a new line character. Now it will be fine. After this, now we have to add item names here and cost of those items. I will be inserting only those items whose quantity is not 0. So here I am going to apply a condition if e_rot dot get method is not equals to 0. If inside rot entry field we will have quantity other than 0, then this condition will become true. And inside this if condition I'm going to write text receipt dot insert method, and at the end I will insert, here I'm going to use f string dal, then /t. Inside this curly braces we will get the quantity of roti. So I'll write e_rot dot get method, and then I will convert this to integer like this, and then I will multiply it with the cost of one quantity. Sorry, here the string will be roti, not dal. And then at the end I will add two new line character. Right now the quantity of roti is 0. So if I click on this receipt, we will not see this item and its cost. We will only see it when we will be adding some quantity to this roti item. So if I add some quantity here and click on this receipt again, now you can see we are getting the item and the cost, but there is one issue. Previous text is not getting deleted. I want firstly the previous text should be deleted and then the new text should be inserted, right? So what I will do here, at the top here I will write text receipt dot delete method from 1.0 till end. I will firstly delete everything from the start till end. I will delete everything and then only the insertion will take place. Let me show you again. If I don't select roti, click on this receipt, you can see we are getting this. But if I select some quantity and click on this receipt again, so firstly the old text got deleted and the new text is now inserted. In the same way, we will only insert this dal item if the quantity on the entry field is not 0. So here also it will be done in the same way. So I am going to copy this line, Control C, and I will paste here, Control V, and now instead of E roti, I'll check for E dal, right? And here the text will be changed to dal, and from here the variable will be changed to dal. Again, I made a mistake. If you see here, I multiplied the total quantity of roti with 60, but it was 10 rupees per roti. Cost of one dal was 60 rupees. Okay. Make sure you multiply with the correct amount that you already defined in the total function. Then I will check for fish. So here instead of roti, this one will be fish, right? And here the text will be changed to fish. And the cost of one fish is 100 rupees. So I'll multiply the total quantity with 100. Let's see. If I don't select these three and click on this receipt button, so I'm not getting any quantity here. But if I mention some quantity like this, click on this receipt again. Now we are getting the items and the cost of items. Similarly, we will do for rest of the items. So here I have completed for rest of the items. I did it for all the food items, drink items and the cake items, right? Let's see. If you add two items from this drink section and two items from this food section and one item from this cake section and click on this receipt button, you can see the items for which the quantity is 0, those are not added inside this receipt. And then after these items I will add the star line again, and then I will add cost of food, cost of drinks, cost of cakes, then subtotal, service tax and the total cost. So here I am going to paste the star line. Then we have to insert cost of food. So here I will write text receipt dot insert method, and at the end I will insert cost of food string, then backslash t backslash t backslash t for some spaces, and then inside this curly braces we will be using a variable. So our total cost of food was in which variable? If you remember, inside this total cost function we have created price of food. Inside this variable there was total cost of our food items. So I am going to use this variable there, but this variable is defined inside this total cost function. So to use this variable inside another function, I have to make this variable as global. So I'll write global price of food. In the same way, I have to make these two also global because I will be using price of drinks and price of cakes variable also. So here I'll make it price of drinks and price of cakes. Now after making these three variables global, I can use these three values inside some another function, this one. So here I will mention price of food. I will also add rs string. This single quote will not be closed here, it will be closed at the last here. Everything has to be inside quotes. Then I will add two new line characters like this. Just like we inserted cost of food, we will be inserting cost of drinks and cost of cakes. So here I'll change it to cost of drinks, and this one will be cost of cakes string, right? And here the variables will change. Instead of price of food, this one will be price of drinks, and the last one will be price of cakes. If I select one item from this drink section and two items from this cake section, and I'm not selecting any items from this food section, I'll click on this total. So we are getting this total here. Cost of food is 0 rupees, right? And if I click on this receipt here we are getting items which does not have 0 in their entry fields. And here we are getting cost of food, cost of drinks, and cost of cakes. You see this cost of food is 0 rupees. So this is not required. If the total cost of any category is 0 rupees, then I do not want to show that into our receipt. So I am going to apply a condition here. Before inserting price of food, here I will check if cost of food where dot get is not equals to 0 rupees. If inside total cost of food entry field we will not have 0 rupees, then only I will insert that in our text receipt. Similarly, I am going to check the condition for other two. So I am going to copy this and I am going to paste here. Here I will provide the indentation. Similarly, I will paste here and then I will provide indentation here. So if you will not select any item of any category, then that category cost will not be inserted into the text receipt. After that, I will insert subtotal. So I am going to copy this line and here I will paste it. Instead of strict cost of cakes, this one will be subtotal. Here instead of this variable, I am going to use variable inside which we were having subtotal. So this is that variable subtotal of items. So firstly I will make it global inside this function so that I can use it outside this function. After making it global, now I can use this value inside this function. So instead of price of cakes, this one will be subtotal of items variable. After subtotal, I will be adding service tax and then the total cost. So here this will be service tax, and the service tax was the fixed amount. It was 50 rupees, right? Then the total cost. So this one will be total cost, and here I am going to use this subtotal of items variable, and to this variable I am also going to add 50 rupees. So this will be our total cost. And at last I am going to add this star line. So I am going to copy from here and going to paste here. Let's see. Let me select one items, total, receipt. So you can see this is how it looks. Cost of food, cost of drinks, cost of cake, subtotal, service tax, and the total cost. So we are done with the functionality of this receipt button. Now let's work on the functionality of this save button. Now what I want, when I click on this save button, I should be getting a save as dialog box inside which we will be writing our file name, and when we will click save button, the receipt will be saved in a text file. Let's see the logic. Here at the top I am going to create a function def save, and I'm going to call this function from the save button. So let's go to the save button. So here we have the save button. I'm going to provide it a command equals to save without parenthesis. And now let's write the functionality. Firstly, I want to display a save as dialog box. So to get that dialog box, I have to import it. So the way of importing it, from Tkinter import file dialog. So this file dialog is a module which can be imported with the help of this Tkinter module. So inside this function I am going to use this module dot ask save as file. I have to pass the mode. So we want to write our data. Then we have to mention the default extension of the file. So the extension will be .txt. This method will return the complete path where our data will be stored, and let me get that path in some variable URL. and then I will get the bill data in some variable. Bill data is in our text receipt, so I'll use text receipt dot get method, and from the start till end I will get everything, and everything is stored inside this bill data variable. And now I can write this bill data, so I'll use this URL dot write method, and I will write this bill data. So this bill data will be written to the text file that you have mentioned on this save as dialog box, and then I will close the URL. So this way you save the bill, and after saving the bill I want to see a message box that your bill is saved successfully. So for message box we have to import from Tkinter module, so I'll write message box. So we are importing file dialog and message box module with the help of this Tkinter module. So here I'm going to use this message box module dot show info method, and here firstly we have to pass the title. So the title is information, and then we need to pass the message. So the message is, so that's it. Let's run. Total receipt, and now we can save this receipt. So here we can pass the file name bill, and the default extension is txt. So if you'll write txt then it is okay. If you don't write txt then this file will be saved with .txt format. Then click on the save. So I'm getting an information box, your bill is successfully saved. Now let's check it out. So I have saved that bill on the desktop, so here you can see we are getting the bill. So that's it for this video. In the next video we will see the functionality of this send button and this reset button. I hope you understood everything till here. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you for watching.